The moment he stepped out of the black car, the city seemed to pause. Cameras flashed, people whispered, and then there it was. Around the neck of a small, barefoot girl standing near the curb hung a necklace he hadn't seen in 25 years. The exact curve of the pendant. The tiny chip on the clasp. His breath caught. That necklace was supposed to be gone forever. And if this story already has your heart racing, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel, because what happened next will remind you why kindness still matters in this world. Ethan Blackwood was known to the world as a billionaire investor, a man who built empires and bought silence with checks that had too many zeros. But before the headlines, before the penthouse and the private jets, he had been a boy with an empty stomach and a mother who smiled even when life broke her heart. The necklace had belonged to her. It was the last thing she owned that was worth anything, a simple silver chain with a small sapphire pendant, given to her by Ethan's father before he disappeared from their lives. On the night she sold it to pay for Ethan's school books, she cried quietly, thinking he was asleep. She died 2 years later, and Ethan grew up believing the necklace was lost to time, just another sacrifice swallowed by poverty. Now here it was, glowing faintly against the collarbone of a little girl who couldn't have been more than 8. She stood with a cardboard sign that read, "Hungry. Please help my sister." Her dress was thin, her hair unevenly cut, but her eyes were steady and brave in a way that unsettled him. Ethan dismissed his driver without a word and walked toward her, the crowd fading into background noise. "That's a beautiful necklace," he said gently, crouching to her level. The girl stiffened, instinctively protective, her small hand closing around the pendant. "It was my mama's," she replied. "She said I should never take it off." Ethan's throat tightened. "Do you know where she got it?" The girl nodded. "A kind lady gave it to her long ago. Before she got sick." Something inside him cracked. He asked the girl's name. "Lily," she said. She told him about her little sister, Rose, waiting in a shelter across town. About how their mother had died the previous winter. About how the necklace was the only thing that made her feel like her mother was still close. Ethan stood there longer than he realized, memories flooding back with painful clarity. He wanted to demand answers, to know how the necklace traveled from his mother's hands to this child's neck. But looking at Lily, he understood something more important. The necklace had done exactly what it was meant to do. It had survived, and it had protected. Instead of taking it, Ethan did something no one expected. He invited Lily to lunch. People stared. His assistant protested quietly. The internet would explode, she warned. Ethan waved it all away. He bought Lily and Rose a warm meal, listening as they laughed shyly, food smudging their faces, joy flickering back to life in small sparks. He learned that Lily had skipped meals so her sister could eat. That she dreamed of becoming a teacher. That she was tired of being brave. That afternoon, Ethan arranged something he had never done before. He visited the shelter himself. He spoke to social workers. He listened more than he talked. Within days, he funded a full renovation of the building, ensuring no child would sleep hungry there again. He set up a trust for Lily and Rose, covering their education, healthcare, and a safe home. But he was careful. He didn't make it about himself. He made it about dignity. A week later, Ethan returned with a small velvet box. Inside was the original necklace, carefully restored, and beside it, an identical one. "This one is yours," he told Lily softly. "And this one was my mother's. I'd like to keep it. But only if you're okay with that." Lily studied him for a long moment, then smiled. "She'd like that," she said. "She always said good things come back around." Years passed. Lily grew into a confident young woman, standing on a graduation stage with Rose cheering the loudest. Ethan sat in the audience, unnoticed, tears slipping down his face. The necklace rested against his chest, no longer a symbol of loss, but of connection. The world later learned about the billionaire who changed a shelter, who quietly funded schools, who believed that wealth meant responsibility. But only a few knew the real reason. Sometimes, the smallest reminder from the past finds you not to hurt you, but to heal you. If this story moved you even a little, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Because you never know, one moment of kindness might be the beginning of someone else's forever. The crowd outside the hotel buzzed with excitement as black cars lined the street, doors opening and closing like clockwork. Then he stepped out. Ethan Blackwood. Billionaire. Visionary. The man who never made mistakes. Cameras flashed, voices called his name, but none of it mattered in that single frozen moment, because across the street, standing barefoot on the cold pavement, was a little girl wearing the necklace he had lost forever. The silver chain. The sapphire pendant. The tiny scratch near the clasp he himself had made as a child. His heart stopped. If this moment already has you wondering what happens next, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because what Ethan did after this changed lives in ways no one could have imagined. Ethan had everything money could buy, yet there were parts of his past he never spoke about. He had grown up poor, so poor that hunger was a regular guest at their table. His mother, Clara, worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3, and still found time to tuck him in every night, whispering stories of better days. The necklace had been her most precious possession, a gift from Ethan's father before he vanished without a trace. On the night she sold it to pay for Ethan's school fees, she told him it was just misplaced. He never believed her. When she passed away years later, that necklace became the symbol of everything he had lost. Now, decades later, it was hanging around the neck of a child who looked as though life had already tested her too many times. She clutched a cardboard sign that read, "Please help. My sister is hungry." Her clothes were worn, her hands trembling slightly, but her eyes were steady, far too steady for someone her age. Ethan felt something unfamiliar tightening in his chest. He crossed the street without thinking, ignoring the murmurs behind him. "Hello," he said softly, kneeling so he wouldn't tower over her. The girl stepped back, fear flickering across her face. "I won't hurt you," he added quickly. "I just wanted to ask about your necklace." Her fingers curled around the pendant instinctively. "It's my mama's," she said. "She said never to give it away." "What's your name?" Ethan asked. "Lily," she replied after a pause. He asked where her mother was, already dreading the answer. Lily looked down. "She went to heaven last winter. I take care of my sister now." Something broke inside him. He asked how she got the necklace, and Lily explained how a kind woman had given it to her mother years ago, saying it would bring protection and hope. Ethan knew then, somehow, impossibly, that woman had been his mother. He could have taken the necklace back. No one would have questioned him. But instead, he did something that shocked everyone watching. He invited Lily to eat with him. Inside a small cafe nearby, Lily sat stiffly, unsure if this was real. When her sister Rose joined them, tiny, shy, clinging to Lily's arm, Ethan ordered more food than the table could hold. He watched as they ate like children who hadn't known security in a long time. He listened as Lily spoke about skipping meals, about protecting Rose, about dreaming of becoming a teacher someday. Ethan remembered being that child. That night, he couldn't sleep. The necklace lay heavy in his thoughts. The next morning, he visited the shelter where Lily and Rose stayed. No cameras. No announcements. Just him. He saw overcrowded rooms, broken heaters, exhausted volunteers doing their best with too little. And he made a decision. Within weeks, the shelter was transformed. New beds. Warm meals. Counseling. Education programs. Lily and Rose were moved into a safe home, supported but not spoiled, cared for but not pitted. Ethan set up a trust fund for their future, insisting their names never be made public. One evening, he returned with a small velvet box. Inside were 2 necklaces, one restored original, and one identical replica. "This one is yours," he said to Lily. "The other belonged to my mother. I lost it once. Thanks to you, I found it again." Lily smiled through tears. "Mama said good things come back when you do good," she whispered. Years passed. Lily grew strong. Rose grew confident. Ethan became something more than a billionaire, he became present. He attended graduations quietly. He funded schools anonymously. And every time he touched the necklace around his neck, he remembered that wealth wasn't about what you had, but who you helped along the way. When Lily graduated college, she wrote Ethan a letter. It said, "You didn't just change our lives. You reminded us we mattered." And that was the moment Ethan realized something profound. The necklace hadn't been lost. It had been waiting for the right time, the right heart, and the right reminder that kindness always finds its way back. If this story touched your heart, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Because stories like this don't just entertain, they remind us who we can be.